Everybody, and welcome back to Thrasher's Ghetto Fab. Today we're working on a 32 like we are most of the time, and we're going to do some headlight stands today and possibly some taillight stands. We'll see how long this takes. Let me show you what I got so far here. So these headlights, I'm sure you guys have seen them on the car. These came off a 38 ton-and-a-half truck I bought for parts years ago, and I think they're pretty cool. I'm going to use them. I like using little parts when I can. So I got those. And then before I just had like the flat bracket in there and just had vice grip to the frame. So I kind of made this stand here, as you guys can see, and made that out of a Model A headlight bar that I had for years. Long story, I got it from a guy I know from the ham, and just did a favor for him and ended up with that. So I got went ahead and used that. Sitting on that for about 15 years. So let me show you what I got. So here is the one Model A headlight bar. You can see I got the one side cut off already, and these are all forged. These are all solid forged pieces here, and then you know, two abouts right here. You can kind of see where it goes, and this turns into a tube. That's kind of how they were. So what I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off here. Cut this off here. I'm gonna show you guys how I made that. The only other thing that we need to probably show you guys is these headlights are not like typical early headlights, or at least Model A 32, 33, 34 stuff. You can see there's a indentation here instead of a stud coming off of there, and that's, you know, so you can adjust it. So you have this kind of concave piece here, and that had a bolt with a washer, and then that gives you the movement there. So I'm gonna show you guys what I came up with, how to make that work. Not having that standard stud, I really wanted to use these headlights, so came up with an idea there, and I'll show you guys how I did that. So here I'm drilling the hole bigger in the stand because, you know, when I set up with the washer in there and the different style mount, I needed some extra room to put a sleeve in there to tighten it down. So had to drill it out bigger and get the sleeve in there, and then that pushes up against that washer, which you'll see here in a little bit. And here's that washer I was talking about earlier. You can see it's going to fit inside there. I do weld this together, and that's what pushes up against that bottom piece, and then gives the headlight the ability to adjust. All right, there, as you saw in the video, and I told you guys about in the voiceover while I was building that, you can see I got the piece done here. There's a little close-up of it with the washer inside there and everything welded together. So now the next step is going to be to make it match the other one. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and cut this off, get it as close as I can by eye, and then I'm going to build some kind of jig or something, you know, tack it to the bench or do something. I'm not quite sure yet, so I get the camera set up, I'll get this done, and we'll tack them together, hopefully make them somewhat the same. This is the simple jig I came up with to get both headlight stands the square and the same, symmetrical as I could. Pretty simple here. Just, you can see I'm tacking a piece of 2x2 rectangular, square tubing on the my bench, and I'll go ahead and push the But stand up against there, find the centers, and that will give me, I can measure the center and everything off the other side, and then the other plane, I'm just getting even with the end of my bench here. So once I get all that set up, you can see again, I'm here just checking my measurements, checking my depth, and simple tack with the MIG, and then I'll move forward, get everything TIG welded. All right, we saw there on that video and what I was telling you guys how I got this piece jigged up and welded now. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get this cleaned up and grind, file, whatever I need to do. Clean it up, make it look like it's forged. And I guess that's one thing I would add on here. Is a lot of times I would leave my welds because I just like to look at welds, but I think on this piece, I want to look like it was a factory, one piece forged deal. I don't know why, but I think this looks cool. And something like this looks like something that would have been factory on the car, with the shape of everything. And, so gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up. I'll show you guys the finished product there, and I guess we'll move on to getting this mounted on the car. So I got it all, the second mount here, got it all smoothed, filed, and ground up. Looks nice and clean now. And I'll show you here, I ended up getting this one mounted. So I got the fastener side on here, and with some carriage bolts. That looked kind of cool, smoothed them up, and welded them in there, and it gives it kind of like a riveted look. So looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna show you how I get this mounted now. So what I did is when I found where I wanted it, on that side over there, I found, if we can get in here, okay. Found marked back from these holes here to here, and found the center of the frame, and this is centered up here. Same thing back here, found the center, and got those lined up in the center of the holes there. And now I have my centering punch here. I'm gonna put that in there, punch the holes, drill them, and then I'll show you guys how I get the carriage bolts in there and welded, and then this part will be done. So I had no way to hold these carriage bolts in here. I came with this little smaller carriage bolt with the 5/16 instead of a 3/8, and it didn't quite fit the square hole. So what I had to do, I had no way to clamp it, is I just put a small tack on the outside there, and then just did a few welds on the inside, as you can see here. And I went and flipped it over and then ground it smooth again. All right, so moving forward here. Got the headlight mounted. You guys saw there in the last clip, I was getting the carriage bolts and everything in there. So that is done. So we're gonna move on here to the next project, which I do, gonna move on to the rear lights, and also, since I'm up front here, gonna work on the shock mounts. So I started on those, and got a set of the F1 truck mounts. I think these are early 50s, I want to say. A buddy of mine got these with a straight axle setup he was doing years ago, and they've been sitting around for a long time. So dug them out, found them. I think they're going to work great for this application. Here's one that I've already modified here. And you can see I bent it, cut it, shortened it, and this one actually is mounted already to the frame, which I can show you guys here in a minute. But it's still hot actually, I just welded it. But I'm going to get this set up, show you how I built that, and get everything mounted. So I'm showing you guys here my first attempt. I was just trying to make these exactly the same, tack them together here. Did this 2 or 3 times and I couldn't get it to work. So I moved over here to the frame, take 2 here. And what I did is I cut it back apart and I drilled and tapped the frame, mounted the part with the bolts to go through to the frame, and then just did a simple tack here to tack everything together, and then took it back off and welded everything. All right, this shock mount is done. Actually, both of them are done at this point. I did that, I welded that off camera. I'm sure you guys see me weld enough times, so just a simple thing there. I am going to leave them kind of rough like that, and it shows that they're forged and they're original pieces. I could clean them all up, but I think I like them like that. You can see shock is in the middle of the travel basically, and they are a little bit different side to side. As you saw in the video there, I tried to do it on the bench. What I ended up doing is tacking it here on the cars, made it a lot easier, and they're a little bit different, so they will be specific side to side. So saying that, we are going to move on to the taillights. All right, so moving on to taillights here, guys. Got a bracket or a stand I made here, keeping with the theme of using the old parts, old junk, whatever you want to say. Get closer here so you can see, hopefully. The flange here is off a 32 headlight bar that I've had for years. Made my headlight stands for my 34 pickup. I didn't use them, had to make a smaller flange. So these were laying around. Literally, I found them the other day when I was looking for the shock mounts. And then just to keep with the theme here, even the tube I used off that Model A headlight bar. And if you can see here, this part is the only part I have to make out of steel, made it out of 16 gauge. So I'll get the camera set up, show you how to make that, and basically that's it. They just mount on the car here, like that, and that's it. So, like I said, I'll get the camera set up here, and I will make these for you guys. All right, so I wanted to show this, did a little off-camera work here, and got finished this piece in here, the two-part there. Got set everything up so it was equal to the other side as best it could. It's tacked to the mount that goes on the headlight there, and what I'm going to do here now is I'm just, as you can see, I got it set up here. I took my square and I squared up the center here, which these were off just a little bit. So I'm just matching them on both sides. You can see I got the tools in there for changing out, for the air tools. I got those in there. Got the center propped up, and I think it's good. Everything's centered here. I'm gonna get it tacked just real quick here. Set it on the car. See what the fit looks like. If it fits like it should, then I'll go ahead and finish it and show you guys the finished product. All right, like I said, I was going to wrap it up after the taillight brackets here, so let's take a look at those. And I got both of them mounted on the car here, all smooth, done. And I think they look pretty symmetrical. And it looks like the way I wanted it to. And I used up all the old junk I had laying around. So with that, guys, just want to say thanks for watching Thrasher's Ghetto Fab, and we will see you next time.